All right, guys, so I've got a customer, all we did was some countertops in the bathroom, and that means that they got new sinks and they also got new faucets and new drains. So I wanted to run over with you guys today. This is a little bit of an older home. I just wanted to talk about the supply lines and what kind of supply lines you typically need for a new faucet. If you don't currently have the valves that we're going to talk about in this video, then I highly recommend you change them out, because there is a standard for vanity water valves underneath the sink. So we're going to get into that now. Let me show you. Okay, so right here we're underneath the sink. Obviously, you can see this is the new sink that we're putting in. This is from the new faucet. This is the hot and cold water supply that is going to and from the handles to the actual faucet itself. And then these are the water supplies for the faucet. So this one is the hot, that's why it's got this little label on it. And then this one over here is the cold, not labeled. But you can see that this thread right here is a lot different than the thread that's actually on the valve. So this is going to be a 3/8 compression right here. And then this here, which is pretty normal for newer faucets, is going to be a 1/2 inch FIP thread. What you need for that is going to be this little guy right here. This is going to be your 1/2 inch. You see it's already got a rubber gasket in there. That'll create your watertight seal on the faucet side. And then this right here is 3/8 compression, which also has a gasket in there. You can see this little piece actually sits inside of where the thread is at. This is a 1/2 inch to 3/8 compression water supply line, and we're gonna use 2 of these, one for the hot, one for the cold. That's what's going to the faucet, and then you've got 3/8 compression. That is what's on the valve. So typically when I'm installing these supply lines, I prefer to actually do the faucet first. That way I can grab this with a wrench, and then I can tighten the actual supply line down with a wrench as well. The reason why that's so important is because if you don't grab this with a wrench, this copper line is going to get twisted and you will break it. We're just going to start screwing this guy on, and then we'll get our wrench and we'll tighten it down. You don't want to twist the copper. All right, so I got both wrenches here. Like I said, you want to put one up here and then one on the line. That way we can tighten up the line without damaging the copper coming out of the faucet. All right, just like that. And now you can see I just need to do the supply line to the valve. What's nice about the copper up here is you can actually bend it a little bit, push that out of the way so that you can bend the supply line over. All right. Okay, I'm going to show you guys another piece of the plumbing setup when you're installing a new faucet. Nowadays, most of the faucets that you're going to buy are actually going to come with the drain itself. That's going to look like this. This goes obviously in the sink, and then you got to hook up the under sink plumbing. This is the faucet, and the brand is Delta, which we're a big fan of. We use Delta all the time. Delta does come with the drains. So in order to install this little plastic cap, that comes off, we don't need that. And then this guy right here, we're actually going to unscrew that and put some plumber's putty on that first. So when you take this little guy off, you're gonna see that it actually has the stopper in it as well. We don't need the stopper right now, so we can put that aside. We really just need this and this. So this, we're just gonna take this off temporarily because it's gonna be in our way while we try to tighten up that main nut, this guy right here. Before we do that, we're actually gonna lower this all the way down so that we make sure that we have enough thread to catch on the top side of the sink. I've actually lowered the nut as far as I can go, and the rubber washer with it. This is gonna come up from the bottom like that, and you need some of those threads exposed so that you can screw this guy on. This is plumber's putty right here. We're just gonna take a little ball like we've got here, and we're actually gonna roll this into a snake like Play-Doh. Okay, so that's what we want. She's a little thick, but that's all right, it'll work. I basically just took our little plumber's putty snake, put it around the underside of the drain, just like that. So now we're going to put this guy underneath the sink, and we're going to screw this on. While we do that, we want this piece of the drain facing that way, straight back, because that is what is going to control the actual stopper on the back side of the faucet. All right, so like I said, we just push that guy through, and we're gonna take this, The drain body is plastic, so make sure that you don't cross thread it. And then we're going to turn the drain body the direction that it needs to be facing, just like that. And now we can pull the drain body down. It's gonna push out that plumber's putty a little bit. Now it's kind of stuck there. And you can see that's the drain body, but see the gap that we have here between that washer and the nut? So all we're going to do is take this and tighten that all the way up. We're gonna need a pair of pliers to do that, but we're gonna hand tighten it to this point first. You can see that it flattened that washer, and yes, it is plastic, so pliers chew that up a little bit. This is the piece of the existing P-trap that was left. We're gonna go ahead and use that. There's nothing wrong with it. And then we need to connect it to this. This is actually 1.25 inches. This is 1.5 inches. So we're gonna use a reducing washer here, but we still need a P-trap down here. Okay, I lied. That piece isn't gonna work because it was cut too short for where the new drain comes down, so we're gonna put the new one in anyways. It's an 1.5 inch trap adapter coming out of the wall, so this nut will screw directly on. This washer right here is gonna provide our seal. That just goes like this, so I can get the thread started. There we go. We don't need to tighten that up yet because we're gonna need a little bit of play. Hand tight a little bit like that, so we can get everything positioned. This here goes like this. Make sure that we got enough reach, just barely, I think. I had to run down and grab another 1.5 inch nut because I did not have one up here. You're gonna put that on here first. I know it seems like it's way too big, and that's because it is. This is 1.25 inches, this is 1.5 inches, but we got to adapt it over to 1.5 inches. So we're gonna use this 1.5 to 1.25 reducing washer. And then this guy, the P-trap itself, gets screwed on to the P-trap extension piece, and then this cranks down around the 1.25 inches. And now we can tighten everything up and make sure we don't have any leaks after we turn the water on. So now you should have something that looks like this. A nice new P-trap. See the washer in there. And then on the top side from the drain, we have all this plumber's putty left over, but now it'll come out nice and easy, and the rest of it will be left underneath the drain. Okay, so now the last thing left to do is install all of this, which is the parts for the drain pop-up, which is, this is gonna go on the back side of the faucet. All of this goes underneath the sink. So we're gonna need that nut that we took out, these pieces, and the stopper. So we're gonna start by putting this in the correct way. You see that little hole right there? That's actually going to be operated by this little guy going up and down inside, pushing and pulling that stopper. So make sure that when you put this in, that is towards the back so that it lines up with the hole, just like that. Now we can go under the sink and install the rest of it. Remember this right here that we took that nut off of? The nut is gonna go on this piece right here. Just gonna slide into the stopper, and then we're gonna tighten that nut down. The nut will create the seal around that little ball. Just make sure, again, you don't cross thread. If we take this little thing and we go up and down, it'll move the stopper on the top side. So now we just need to connect the pieces and move the stopper. All right, so when we connect this little rod to this little rod, we're gonna use this piece here. This nut tightens down on the rod that's up here, and then this right here actually has a little metal bracket that goes around this and around this to keep it in place. But you wanna make sure that that stopper, so when this is down in the position that it's in, you want this to be all the way up like that. So that way when you pull this up, it'll close the drain. So we want that down. I'm going to stick that in there like this. We don't need to tighten that down yet. We just need to get this position, which you can see because of the drain here, we don't have a whole lot to work with. Sometimes you have to trim these down. In this case, we should be okay, but we're gonna put this piece on right here, put that through the hole, and then clip it on the other side like that. So that's it on that. Now all I need to do is tighten up the screw, make sure that the two pieces stay in the position that they're in. All right, now we just need a wrench. All right, and that should be it. It should be nice and tight. So if we pull up on the stopper, pulls that down, push down, opens it up, just like it should. Here comes the leak test. No leaks. So the most common places that you'll have a leak on something like this would be obviously these joints if you didn't tighten those up enough. And then this one up here if you didn't tighten that up enough, because that one's got to be pretty tight to compress that washer.